Oh, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness, Rage Across New York. And we will be setting this scene, wouldn't you know it, at the Seeker's pack house rather than on Sept, because, well, there was a period where 10 Point very much despised leaving Sept, didn't want to be seen, didn't want to be bothered. That time has long since passed, and she has since then, after surviving her personal ordeal, has made a point, even if she doesn't always stay at the apartment, even if she doesn't sleep at the apartment, of at least coming home and being a good daughter in so much that she comes home in enough time to help Chad's mom set up the table to sit and have dinner with her, to get, spoons wild at her if she doesn't finish her dinner, et cetera, and to spend time with her, to be around her and Sheila. And she will, especially as more and more time has gone on, spends more and more of her evening at the apartment helping clean up, sitting around talking to them, listening to them, and just not being underfoot per se, but at least being present so that the place doesn't feel empty. Because after all, what is the point of having brought Jessica to the pack house and to live with the pack if she isn't living with the pack? And they're already down one, and the other has been just as bad off as she has. So, yeah. So it is Monday. It is Monday night, and there was probably not so much an official dinner as that lovely Monday night tea that is, at least in 10 Point's eyes, a kind of terrifying political show on the kinfolk front. There have been, she still helped with the setup. She still managed to snag some of the food and go off on her own to eat in like the living room, and leave them to their talks. But considering the ever so fabulous faces that have showed up, yeah, she finds it just to her advantage to be over there, well over there, not where they're gonna spot her through the doorway to the dining area, not where they're gonna, be fussed that she's around. And she's both at the Omega and a Metis, so admittedly, she's maybe well liked by the kin, but she's overlookable. So she will have been offside and out of the way until tea time was over, and every last guest has been brought to the door and seen off with, "Oh, darling, I can't wait till next week," and kiss, kiss, and all that. Oh God, the social combat is terrifying. And once all of them have gone, um, she'll finally slink in to help with cleanup, picking up dishes, picking up the abandoned teacups, and helping with the dishes, sweeping up, all that.
The the most beautiful woman in the sept after her arrival was unquestionably Sheila. The There was more prepared today than any other day for some unknown reasons. She prepared a lot of food, and those cooking classes are paying very well. While Sabrina can't still make an omelette, the cookies that was presented to her, the 10 Point, the carrot cookies, is just fucking delicious. They're not also like normal cookie looking cookies. She shapes them and tries to make them look different. The cleanup is done by Jessica, 10 Point, and Sheila, which they start to sit on the after the cleanup is done. Is the Jessica opens the TV again. She watches something while the Sheila kind of like texts a couple times, which 10 Point sees that her eyes kind of goes to Jessica sometimes. Jessica yawns and gets up, and immediately Sheila also gets up. They say their good night, which Sheila says, "I will stay a bit more. I mean, I really like this one. This TV series is really good." As Jessica starts to leave, I need you to roll me perception alertness
Dun dun dun.
because you are watching them.
Darn tootin', I'm watching them. Yes! So much success!
Her eyes are watching Jessica to leave the room like a cat and a mouse.
Ooh.
The second Jessica leaves, she slowly sits, opens Netflix, and opens Westworld.
And what?
Westworld, TV series regarding alternative realities and all that jazz.
Ooh.
Too much universes for Jessica to understand.
And yeah, I imagine 10 Point's been nested in on one end of the couch and just kind of doing her own thing. In this case, probably as quietly as she can, anyways, lightly scratching at the designs on some of her pendants, some of her pieces of jewelry. Things where the better part of the cutting and the deep grooving is already done, and she's just going back and picking out light details so that it's not as obtrusive. But it's, I imagine by now, the kind of noises they're very much used to and probably kind of tune out.
Is she laying on the
Oh, she's not taking up a lot of couch. She is, even when she's by herself, has a tendency to kind of coil up on one far end to leave the better part of the couch open.
you will see that she will like look at 10 Point, smile. Like you will feel that she smiled at your body. Um, what's 10 Point wearing, by the way?
Um, Let me think. It is still coldish out. She's still actually she has gotten better about her dressing because if nothing else, Aiden has made a point of encouraging her every time that she wears some of the leftover clothes he has from his sister, things like that. So she's actually probably dressed kind of hold on, I even have thingy things.
Tingy Tings.
I do. Give me 1 second, I will show you. It's it is not the trendiest clothing, but it's not bad and it's stuff that she wears reasonably well. Give me 1 more second.
No problem. I'm waiting.
The stuff like this. It's still vaguely boho. It's still things that are comfortable, but definitely more in style than her previous stuff, which was a lot of layered, kind of tattered, like a little too boho hand me down things that she had cobbled together. So she's definitely looking better. She has taken quite a liking to leggings, and every time she gets a chance, has gotten a hold of all sorts of brightly colored or lacy looking or whatever leggings because they give her the coverage, but very comfortable and very mobile.
The Sheila will like stop after the 5 minutes of the episode that she's watching, and she will look at 10 Point. You want cookies? Cola?
And well, actually, kind of blink a time or two because oh yeah, she is being directly addressed. Oh goodness. And we'll perk up a bit and give a slight nod because let's face it, they were pretty freaking good cookies.
Sheila gets up, goes inside for like 5 minutes. She will prepare this like thing, and she will come back. There's like a big cola bottle, two bigger than average glasses. She pours them, and there is the cookies. We- You start without me. I will go inside and take out my makeup and come back, okay?
And she gives a light nod of understanding and will actually gesture to the plate. Um, because let's face it, as has been pointed out several times now, she does listen. And so she kind of gestures and says, those cooking classes must be very good. These are like the things I see on TV.
Thank you, hon.
But she'll bob her head and let her go off and get comfortable, change into not her showy dress and nice heels or whatever.
The She will go inside and like you kind of can see her through your through the door. Like you can see the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
She slowly takes out the big fucking circle earrings. She keeps the hair because hair is gonna have a lot of problems in the morning. You see she starts taking out the lipstick, the she washes her face, and then she will like go inside the room bedroom of Aiden and herself. And she will come back wearing pajamas. She will sit, and when she sits, she taps her lap 2 times. Just a second. My dad is calling me. I'll be right back,
Mm-hmm.
okay? My apologies. I'm back.
It is all good. You said she pats her lap?
Yeah, like friends. Um, you said 10 point always, kind of like curls up and lays.
She tends to nest up leaning against the arm of the other side of the couch. She makes a point of not like kicking her feet up and taking up a ton of room because that's rude, but she does lounge.
Um, like it's not like you're calling your dog.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
She like smiles and done this. Come on.
And yeah, 10 points eyebrows maybe lift a little bit, but especially with her being kind of dressed down at this point, it's not like she's an imposing figure. And 10 point will have at least been polite enough to pour glasses for them before she got back. But we'll go ahead and yeah, she will just kind of shift from one side to the other. And has since then snagged a cookie and will be nibbling on it and carefully not dropping crumbs in the process, but flop over
It's fine. They're pajamas anyway.
A little nod. To be fair, she is probably currently antler free because she did have to walk home.
Okay, that's good.
So
Yeah,
it
I
makes
was
it makes the
thinking. I
lab
was
thing a
thinking.
lot easier.
Yeah, I like your photo kind of mistakens me, and she cuts them a lot. I forget that. So yeah.
She does. It does mean that as a result, instead of her hair being loose, it has been like kind of tightly braided back. So there's, the little nubbins are there and they're visible,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's been sheared off to the point where it's not gonna like jab her in the leg or something.
Like it would be even if like there might be some uncomfortableness, but you don't see any uncomfortableness in her eyes.
And yeah, she just flaps over and accepts the gesture because fuck it. There are worse people to be on good terms with than your alpha's wife. And she'll turn a glance up. So more and more people coming each time. Looks like we're gonna need a bigger table.
I was actually going to talk about that with the Jessica. You're right. We will need a bigger table soon.
No. I hope they're going well.
Things are fine. The I enjoy these type of meetings.
They do seem better when they're in your home, when you can play host.
You should have seen Holly's home.
Huh?
Mike is really rich, it seems.
Is it one of those places that's big and full of things, or is it just big and cold?
It's not big and cold, hon. It's more like there's a lot of statues that shows their power. Some people would like to boast, but I think they like to boast silently.
The eyebrows kind of pop for a second, and she takes on a thoughtful expression because she is familiar with guru posturing, not so much how a kinfolk might use little things to posture and do that there social combat. But yeah, she actually takes that in with something of a thoughtful look. I suppose it's much the same as having trophies, showing the great things you have done, showing the great things you can accomplish in the way that kinfolk accomplish things, as opposed to how we do.
She smiles. I don't think that would be the case if we were in any other sept, but in this sept, yes, that is correct.
How is it different elsewhere?
In my home, my dad is my dad used to show trophies. We were roll me perception empathy.
Yes, yes. Nope. The dice roller doesn't love me today.
I think so
Confirmed
as
fact.
well. We were there to help.
able to do more in places like that, I guess.
True. Have you heard about Bettina?
Bits here and there. I recognize the name. She was Get Kinfolk, right?
True. She killed a big monster with her old husband, Blitzkrieg the Warder. She had trophies, like a Garu.
She mulls over that. It's not so uncommon back home. For the same sort of thing for the kinfolk to run with us. You'd think we would. She kind of pauses a bit. You'd think we'd do it more here, since you travel the city so much more easily than we do. Hmm. And she kind of grins up at her, kind
I
of
think
trying to make it a playful thing as she goes. Would you like to
Mhm.
have trophies?
I already have trophies, son.
Her head
Let's play a
tilts.
game. Let's play a game. You guess my trophies, and if you can guess it in 3 times, you have 3 guesses.
Do I get to ask questions about the trophy?
3 questions.
3 questions, 3 guesses.
If you win, you will ask me something, and I will respond as honestly as I can. If you fail, I will ask you a question. In the name of Gaia, you will respond correctly, truthfully, and honestly.
Hmm. Again, the eyebrows kind of lift a bit because this is reasonably close to dealing with spirits, playing a game like this. Something that's just a touch more on her level, albeit the subject matter isn't.
Oh, see, I hope you enjoy the scene.
Oh, I'm loving it. So she muses for a couple moments, glancing around the room thoughtfully. And with some thought, simply goes for the first question. Is your trophy a living thing?
She side smirks and says, yes,
Then is your trophy my alpha?
you're incorrect.
That pops her brows up again. Like she looked so confident for a second, and she seems so puzzled when it's not the right answer. She mulls harder, thinking about who all came to the party, thinking about who they live with.
Roll me wits empathy again.
Oh, nix that 10 at the end because I rolled one die too many.
She wouldn't Like someone wouldn't be like, I will tell you anything if you just do, especially this woman, if she thinks you would be capable of understanding what she is doing. So 10 Point realizes she may need to think outside of the box.
She thought she was outside the box when she went for people instead of things. Damn it.
She said, "Is it a living being?" And she said, "Yes."
Yep, yep. She
You don't.
glances around.
You are 100% sure it is not the dog or the cat.
Damn it. Does she keep anything in like that living area, like photos or like knickknacks?
Um, there's a lot of photos. Um, Family photos. Siegfried, Uncle, One Erect family line, you, Saoirse, Jessica, Chad's dad. There are like millions of photos in this house.
Wow.
It is forcefully made into a home of individuals who lived there for generations. So it is forcefully turned into something that these Garu can call home. They will, of course, put a bunch of photos to make themselves feel comfortable.
Do any of the photos have frames that are like more like admittedly 10 Point doesn't understand expense, so something with finer quality wouldn't necessarily be more ostentatious, but something that's showier.
There's a lot of photos with Siegfried, cousins, Sabrina, some photos with Saoirse. Like I guess that 10 Point would also take like selfies sometimes. Or they would like take selfies with 10 Point and 10 Point would be red as fuck.
Yeah,
So
most likely she has been wrangled into selfies and they're not like
Mhm.
posed photographs.
You look at one of the photos, see murder hobo, photo
God
bombing.
damn it. That's what we get for taking photos on Sept ever. Or anywhere except inside our home. Inside the home is probably safe, maybe.
You
The,
never know.
the conspiracy. God damn it. Oh, here's your trophy. Kinfolk or Guru?
Kinfolk.
She hands down spends the most time with Sabrina, doesn't she?
Yes.
So yeah, second guess go. Is it Sabrina?
You're correct. As she kisses 10 Point's forehead.
And she obviously, like, she may have guessed it and be pleased with herself, but she really is mulling that over. Like, how that counts. How she's useful as a trophy. She seems
You
really thoughtful about it.
you start thinking regarding the relationship. Roll me if it's empathy again. Or
Yes.
intelligence empathy.
Sadly, I'm not sure if intelligence empathy will be enough to get my specialty, but it's one extra die! That barely helped, but yeah, one whole success.
What is a trophy? Trophy is something you show people.
Mm-hmm.
Trophy is something you show people for dominance and social things. Sabrina doesn't leave near her. She came here for her. She is a she's a daughter of a really powerful Silverfang.
Powerful house. She's very, very eye catching.
And
And the alliance between them, I'm sure, that is represented by the friendship carries a lot of weight.
you don't think Sheila Caesars is her friend anymore.
Oh my. Scandalous.
The She's in every meeting, but you would also roll me Garulor again. Actually, no,
Intelligence or
no. Roll me intelligence, empathy for Sabrina.
this is exciting. Oh, dice work, please.
I think you have 3 successes.
Oh, okay, it just lagged for me. I have like maybe
No,
four,
four.
unless it's
You
a
have
higher
four.
diff.
You have four.
Yay!
This will be this way until Sabrina is married, and then Sabrina will become a competition.
Scandalous again.
She does what Sheila says because Sheila is the one who's married to a Garu.
Ooh.
And Sheila's like hands kind of like plays with the hair of 10 Point and says, "So you have a go. I will answer your question."
She mulls over that because it's a pretty nice open-ended thing to have, but how to best take advantage of it. Though all things considered, when it comes to Sheila, there is admittedly a subject that sticks out the most to her, at least. And so she'll mull over it and look up, and it's definitely not like a cutting, clever look. It's almost very tentatively inquisitive. Have you felt the effects of the Gias since you were married?
What kiss?
Many spirits attended your wedding. Many spirits look over the vows that you took. Many spirits ensure they are followed in spirit as well as in exact word.
I kept my word to Aiden. I did not feel anything weird regarding spirits, or I don't think something weird happened to me. But
May I ask another if I offer you one in return?
it will be depend on your question. She kind of smiles
Oh,
because roll me perception empathy.
shit. Oh, think aloud.
Sheila thought she was clever and she was going to gain a question, and she did. But you entered, you asked a question regarding her relationship with Aiden. And that question is between she and him. You understand what I mean? Like that is their kind of
Mm-hmm.
like that is their thing. So
She's already kind of poked into things that are, quote,
yeah,
not her business. Yeah.
yeah. So like because this is a game and like the you kind of feel like there will be a conversation coming up. We will keep these things to ourselves, aren't I? Kind of conversation will come because she is like mm, it, it's maybe because your not your business kind of type has been poked, but yeah, But she is looking at 10 Point expectantly.
And Templin will go so far as to kind of roll herself over. So she's actually properly facing upwards at her. And she's not quite leery of looking Sheila properly in the face. She does tend to avoid it, but when it comes down to wanting to make a point, she doesn't seem to have an issue in looking her, not aggressively in the eyes, but actually meeting her, face to face. Are you happy here, as opposed to, I guess, anywhere else you could have ended up?
She smiles. I could have married with Matthew Mact here. I could have married Christopher the Tanzeril, but they're dead. I don't know what my life could have holded. Could I have saved those Garu from dying? But I have to say I enjoy my time very much here.
The answer seems to please her just fine. She gives a thoughtful nod, and it is only fair.
Do you love Aiden? As she drops it when she is not ready the most. Oh, see? I know she doesn't see the love as this kinfolk sees. So she made a mistake.
Oh no, it's ironic because the answer she receives is probably not the one that she expects, really.
Mhm.
10 Point does not lie about it and doesn't make it into something that she is ashamed of. She doesn't make it something that should be odd or off kilter. She just kind of heaves a slight shrug and says, "Of course I do." He's my Raya.
The way she says, so I'm going to roll perception empathy here.
Please do.
And she has like 6 dice on this, which she has 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
You can roll manipulation subterfuge if you want to.
Well, no, because 10 Point is admittedly a little more interested than she used to be, but she has been saying for ages now to Aiden that she loves him dearly. And she does.
She, what she's looking at your behavior, at your type of thing, that then you shrug and say yes. Is it like a family thing?
Essentially, yeah, that's the impression it gives,
Mm-hmm.
is that she loves him dearly, like as she would love a member of her family, almost as if, like, not even just like in a generic family way, but like if you had this overprotective big
Mm-hmm.
brother that you were very tightly, very close to. So it's obviously still a very close thing, but she doesn't give off the impression that it's
It's
intimate like
romantic.
that. Yeah, not
Yeah.
at all.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
At least in her answer, she definitely says, absolutely, of course I do, but it doesn't give the impression of scandal or romance, just yes, absolutely, with, every beat of my heart. I love him dearly.
Just takes a deep breath and releases it. Are we gonna do one more round?
If you like,
Go ahead.
let me first explain myself a little bit.
She
I
nods
know.
and um, just roll me perception empathy, a small perception empathy. Difficulty is going to be 5 because you are looking at her face.
I need to remember which typo that is. Ta-da! That's 3.
Just look at the photo and you'll understand what happened. The posture has been changed. The queen has returned.
Oh, goodness. To make it very clear, I know that kinfolk are often raised expecting to aid the guru and perhaps to die fighting alongside them. And I have been raised expecting to die, hoping to die in a way that makes me worthy. Aiden is the first guru who has not asked me to die for him. He asked me to live.
As much as she hides, there's a 10-point smells proudness. Like,
Like she's
yeah,
taking pride in that statement.
yes, because that is a good leadership
It is,
action.
absolutely.
So she is like, yes, like I like. She doesn't think she made Aiden this way, but she is like, yes.
So there's a faint smile there, especially as she kind of intensifies as a result, like kinfolk intensifies. Pretty intense. And so she mulls over it, having a third whole question, which is just auspicious, really. What is it then, to both yours and Aiden's benefit, that you are trying hardest to achieve? What do you want the most?
Oh, see, I didn't get the question. Can you say it again?
Essentially, she's asking what, not like just what do you want in a general sense, but what do you like really want when it comes to like, and she imagines it will have to do with the social climbing, but like for her sake, for Aiden's, for all the maneuvering she's doing, what is she trying to get? What is she angling for? What does she want?
She thinks on it. After about like 30 seconds of silence, which comes more to 10 point because face to face with a kinfolk would kind of make her heart beat a bit faster.
I mean, she's as patient as she can be. It's kind of a loaded question, but she is
Mm-hmm.
obviously sitting there and not like staring her in the face the whole time she's thinking, but it's definitely like the suspense ramps up. She's eager to hear, she's eager to know and to understand better.
I want Aiden to exceed his limits. I want Aiden to change things. I want Aiden to achieve what was thought unachievable. My end goal is to facilitate and give him mental capacity as a loving wife. to achieve these things as best as I can. While she smiles and says, being his wife and his Sheila.
She's saying this. I will peony to make it fair. But I assume she's saying this very earnestly.
You can peony.
Woohoo!
You have 4 successes. Seeing through Vol is kind of hard, but there are like what she says is true, but she doesn't say I would do anything for Raiden to achieve these things. There are things she would do. Like she wants Aiden to reach and exceed his limits, but she didn't tell. Like what you get is she didn't tell you I would do anything for that.
Hmm.
She like I will give him the mental. I will try to give him the mental thing, like because I tell you this because that there's a saying. Oh, Seeker says anything for the family. She didn't say anything for the family.
Ooh, good point. Did she seem especially like? Is there any one part of that that she was the most emphatic or passionate about as she said it?
Oh, see, there's something regarding Sheila that the you two does not know,
Mm-hmm.
and the what she is capable. When I say what she is capable, it's not like she is fucking, like level 5 Dragon Bash. Like, there's something regarding Sheila and what she thinks regarding the Aiden. Uh, okay, you have 5 successes, right?
I have four. 4 on 5
Mm,
dice, which is pretty good, but I mean,
The
it's 4 successes.
I will say that the everything she said was correct, and she said it wholeheartedly, but she didn't say anything for the family.
Okay.
Like, imagine her saying that and then saying anything for the family. That would have been much greater.
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Interesting.
Before I ask my question, I will ask another question regarding my question.
Of course.
Mind if I ask my question later?
Hmm. She tilts her head a bit thoughtfully, but at this point, honestly, is probably more interested in how clever a fucking move that is and what she might be planning to try for than she is intimidated by what the question could be. So she will think about it. How much time? It's no fun if we don't put an end limit.
1 year, a year and a day.
She actually starts to open her mouth, and yeah, when she says a year and a day, she nods because it's pretty. It is one of those nice standard time uh integers that just appeals to her as a urge.
She extends a hand to 10 point.
And yeah, 10 point will you know what? This is a terrible idea, but she is very curious and very interested. So she will actually lift her hand and offer it to shake. So be it.
She she shakes. Are you interested in the restaurant, or do you want me to put something else on the TV?
This is fine.
She nods. Want to continue watching?
If you don't mind.
Not at all. She presses the button and she lays again. The When she presses the button of the TV, her smile returns to her face.
All things considered, with how conniving all of that was, not necessarily threatening, but definitely dangerously clever that was. It's
Which one?
just all of that back and forth questions game, especially asking to hold one. She will actually be, if anything, a little more comfortable with Sheila because it's very reminiscent of the kind of things that Aiden would probably pull. So yeah, she will probably lounge there with Sheila as long as Sheila seems comfortable having a metis on her. And yeah, actually we'll take her ease there and maybe even at some point during the show doze off because she doesn't necessarily sleep too well, but this will be one of those few times where there's an exception, someone that is either reminiscent enough of Aiden or close enough to her that she actually goes ahead and drops off briefly.
We can end the scene there if you want to.
Yes, yes. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. I see you. And we'll see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.